I just wanted to start this off by saying that I'm only making this video because I wish I had seen something like this when I was a little girl who wanted to sing. It might have changed the entire course of my life. If you're someone who dreams of being able to sing but just doesn't think it's possible for you, this video is for you.
If you've ever seen my YouTube channel, you know that I love to write songs, produce music, and sing. The problem is, I don't really know how to sing. While I learned some things about singing from high school choir, there was clearly a lot I didn't know. I never thought I was a bad singer per se, but there were things about my voice that I hated. My intonation was super inconsistent to a point that autotune couldn't even make it sound good. My vibrato sounded like a goat. I would never be able to belt past like a B-flat 4 on a good day. I thought I was for sure an alto. My head voice was thin and unpleasant to listen to. Worst of all, my throat always hurt after singing.
Think of all the things, what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way I like to dress. Some people live just to play the game. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing else.
I basically thought my voice was only suited for Lorde, Lana Del Rey, and Bruno Mars, when what I really wanted to sing was Ariana Grande. During that event in 2020, I was trying to teach myself how to sing by following vocal coaches tutorials on YouTube, and I quickly came across two hurdles that were going to be pretty hard to overcome. First, videos to improve vocal agility and sing higher were essentially useless to me because I didn't have any singing fundamentals established. Secondly, an important part of learning any skill is getting timely feedback so you can know what you're doing wrong and how to do it better. A video tutorial can only guess at what you're doing wrong. Essentially, there's no way of knowing for sure. This resulted in dangerous vocal habits that could have caused real vocal damage if I hadn't gotten help.
Don't call me late at night, no one I can't trust myself. Don't talk me down. Ooh, when you walk out, don't turn around. Don't talk me down. Don't lay me down. Remember those walls I built? Well, maybe they're tumbling down, and they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. And everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Burning through my darkest night, you're the only one that I want.
So I was pretty frustrated with my lack of progress, and I finally decided to seek guidance from a professional. In other words, it was time to get lessons. I first went to a local music school where they assigned me to a teacher who I think had just graduated from undergrad, and she was a jazz performance major. After about 4 30-minute lessons with her, I knew it wasn't a good fit. There was one lesson where I asked her how to develop a mixed voice, and she said, there aren't any exercises for that actually, it kind of just happens. I also remember that when I couldn't hit the high notes in If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys, she told me to just lower the key so that I could actually hit the high notes and didn't work on developing my technique so that I could actually belt higher. So I was kind of frustrated with that. I left every lesson being more confused. I felt like I wasn't making any progress at all. I also had a gripe about the fact that I was choosing my own repertoire because as someone who doesn't really know much about singing, I felt like I wasn't able to choose challenging repertoire for myself. Also, as a classically trained pianist and violinist, I was kind of hoping for a more structured focus on technique and fundamentals that was lacking in these lessons. It just wasn't a good fit for me personally, and I went searching for another teacher. I think I used this website called Take Lessons, which I think they took it down, but I found this decently priced teacher online. It ended up actually being two teachers. It was a married couple, Michelle and Robert. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Robert. And they're classically trained opera singers. Opera definitely was not my goal, but I decided to keep an open mind because I thought, this is maybe the more structured approach that I'm looking for. And also, the first lesson was free, which eased my anxiety about maybe worrying if it was a good fit. So, in the first lesson, they wanted to obviously test my vocal range. They had me bend my knees as I sang higher, which helped me to engage my diaphragm, and I actually got up to, I think, an F6. Don't quote me on that. But it was pretty high, and they were like, oh, you're actually a soprano. And I was gobsmacked. It's one of those life-changing things that changes how you perceive your reality. I had always thought that my voice was a low alto. They showed me this anatomy diagram of the head and the mouth and what different parts of your head that you're supposed to be using when you sing. Then they explained to me that there's different techniques for singing, and they teach this technique called bel canto. They described bel canto to me as this Italian approach that involves removing tension from the throat and taking advantage of your resonant spaces in your head so that you can free your voice, reduce strain, and ideally preserve your vocal cords for a lifetime. And that sounded pretty good to me, so I was sold. I wanted to initially do 30-minute lessons, but they said you might be frustrated with your progress because 30 minutes is not a whole lot of time. They said, how about you do 60-minute lessons every other week? I was like, yeah, that sounds good to me because it'll be the same price, right? That was the main concern for me, was affordability. First, they had me working on my head voice, which I had never used before, so it required a lot of strengthening and practice. They started gradually easing me into concepts like engaging the diaphragm, opening the throat to prevent tension, placing the voice in my nose, and making my mouth more tall instead of wide. In terms of practice, I was probably practicing 3 to 5 hours a week.
Why should a woman who is healthy and strong love her like a baby if her man goes away, a weeping and a wailing how he's done her wrong? That's one thing you'll never hear me say. I'll scrub my neck and I'll brush my hair and start all over again.
Somewhere along this journey, I realized that my goals had shifted. I went from wanting to just sing Ariana Grande to wanting to sing opera, arias, and belt Broadway, while also still being able to croon a pop song if I wanted to.
Ein Weilchen auf der Wiese stand, bekannt. Es war ein herziges Faschen. Da hört es an und sang. nightingale, blackbird, how is it you sing? How can you jubilate sitting in cages, never taking warm? How can you remain staring at the rain, maddened by the storms? Was that me? Was that him? Did Uncle Fritz really kiss me? And kiss me, and kiss me? And did I kiss him back? Was it wrong? Am I mad? Is that all? Does he miss me? Was he suddenly getting back with me? Wake up! Stop dreaming! Stop prancing about the woods! It's not beseeming. What is it about the woods? Back to life, back to sense, back to child, back to husband. No one lives in the woods. There are vows, there are ties, there are needs, there are standards, there are shoulds and shoulds. Why not move instead? There's the answer if you're clever. Have a child for work, have a bigger for bread, and a prince or whatever. Never, it's these woods. 'Cause that could be the death of us, the death of us, baby. You know how to jive and rain, and you decided not to make a change. Stuck in the same old lane, going the wrong way on honeymoon avenue, honeymoon avenue, baby. You're coasting that crazy. Can we get back to the way it was? Good night, my someone. Good night, my love. Sleep tight, my someone. Sleep tight, my love. Our star is shining its brightest light. For good night, my love, for good night.
After about 2 to 3 years of lessons, I was finally starting to get the hang of singing in my head voice. It was starting to sound more free and resonant. I was able to keep a more consistent placement in my mask. My throat started to not feel sore after I was singing because I was not abusing my throat and vocal cords as much, which I thought was pretty cool. I just want to reiterate that it took me several years to even get down the basics of singing. This is contrary to the kind of quick fix YouTube tutorials online that say that you can get better in 30 days. I mean, you can, but real progress I feel like happens over years.
His name is Mr. Snow, and an upstanding man is he. He comes home every night in his round-bottomed boat with a net full of herring from the sea. But everything will be as right can be, a living in a cottage by the sea with me. Mr. Snow, darling Mr. Snow. Dein Blos Auge hält so still, ich blicke bis zum Grund. Du fragst mich, was ich sehen will, ich sehe mich gesund. Es brannte mich ein Glühbirn.
Here I want to bring up this concept called cross-training. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, but I feel like it's important to talk about. In June of 2024, I started doing Legree, which is a Pilates derivative workout that really focuses on core strength and muscular endurance. I did not start doing this because I wanted to be better at singing, but my singing did improve as a byproduct of starting Legree. I was able to engage my transversus abdominis a lot easier, and my muscular endurance and my abs improved drastically. This helped me to be able to contract my abs more fully, hold it for longer so that I could support longer phrases with my singing. All of this improvement in my singing happened without actually practicing singing. So I came to realize that, as corny as it may sound, my body is literally my instrument.
Who was reckless just enough, who gets hurt, but who learns how to toughen up when she's bruised, and it gets used, getting stronger each day, till it finally reminds her to fight just a little, to bring back the fire in her eyes that's been gone. It used to be mine.
So after the 2024 recital, I wanted to focus more on belting. I'd strengthened my head voice to a certain point, and my chest voice was sorely neglected. Whenever I tried to sing in my chest voice, I was falling back to old habits, like letting my tongue fall back, not engaging my diaphragm, using my throat for vibrato. Again, my vibrato sounded like a goat. I needed to work on strengthening that chest voice if I wanted to live out my Ariana Grande belting dreams.
Would y'all look at that comfort ceiling? Look at that chandelier. Excuse me, but how I'm feeling is 100 proof. I can raise the roof. I'm so happy to be here. I've been kind of missing Mom and Daddy, sort of in a spin since Cincinnati. The morning flight, a major bore, but then they opened the cabin door, and Zootalore, here I am. A matchbox of our own, a fence of real chain link, a grill out on the patio, disposal in the sink, a washer and a dryer, and an ironing machine, in a tract house that we share, somewhere that's green. Popular, you're gonna be popular. I'll teach you the proper poise when you talk to boys, little ways to flirt and flounce. I'll show you what shoes to wear, how to fix your hair, everything that really counts to be popular. I'll help you be popular. You'll hang with the right chords, you'll be good at sports, and all the slang you've got to know. So let's start, 'cause you've got an awfully long way to go. Quite as popular as me.
So at this point, not only was I cross-training in the sense that I was doing Legree, I was also cross-training singing styles with musical theater and classical. I was starting to learn how to apply classical principles to belting and vice versa.
So don't tell me that I didn't have it right. Don't tell me that it wasn't black and white. After all you put me through, don't say it wasn't true, that you're not the monster that I knew. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leave.
So this brings us to the present day. Why did I put all this effort and money into learning to sing? It's not really my job, and I don't think I plan to make it one, but I think I really did this for my inner child. I always wanted to sing like Ariana Grande, but she always maintains in interviews to this day that she had no formal training when she was younger. I thought, if Ariana Grande doesn't need vocal lessons, then neither do I. And this was a failing strategy, and we know now that Ariana Grande even has vocal lessons. You just don't know what you don't know. So after that crucial age of development had passed, I thought it was too late for me to learn how to sing. Through this process, I proved to my inner child that in some ways she was right, I can learn to sing, but she was wrong in that she wouldn't be able to show herself the way. It takes patience, dedication, hard work, consistency, practice. Most importantly, it takes good teachers to show you where to actually put your effort and spend your time. Anyone who tells you differently is frankly lying and or trying to sell you something. That's my opinion. But my main takeaway from this whole whole singing journey is that it's never too late to pursue your interests, and you never know how far you'll go. So I want to just summarize the lessons that I learned through this journey. 1, classical training is not just for classical singing. 2, there is a reason people study vocal performance and pedagogy for decades to learn about singing, and that's because there's so much to learn. Way more than is found in YouTube tutorials or celebrity interviews. 3, if it hurts, you're doing it wrong. 4, work out your abs. 5, new skills can take years to develop and learn, and that is normal. In fact, my voice is still nowhere near where I want it to be. And finally, this is my hot take, but I think vocal coaches are not a substitute for a voice teacher.
I kind of went on a rant about vocal coaches here, especially the YouTube vocal coaches, and how they kind of messed up my life. But I think that's a topic for another day, so let me know if you want to hear about that.
So with all that said, I think I'm taking lessons from Michelle and Robert till the day that I die. I would recommend my voice teachers to anyone, and I often do. They're not on YouTube selling fun, flashy, auto-tuned vocal exercises. They are real teachers who have real techniques to help you improve your voice and give you a voice that you never thought would ever be possible. So I'm gonna end this video with a cover of Halo by Beyonce, which you saw at the beginning of this video, but now I think I sing it a little bit better, so you can kind of see the comparison there.
Remember those walls I built? Oh baby, they're tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. Feels like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't ever gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray you won't fade away. I see your halo. Feel your halo. Your halo. I see your halo. Feel your halo. Halo. Hit me like a ray of sun, burning through my darkest night. You're the only one that I want. Think I'm addicted to your light.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.